the bottleneck in marketing is really communication. That's where everything
Hmm.
comes in. And that's really what underpins CRO, which is kind of what I teach in this course, conversion
Mm.
optimization. So when we're trying to increase conversion rates, we're trying to look at, okay, how are your assets communicating what your product is? And then we're trying to increase the potency of it and increase the speed of it. So the speed, meaning how quickly people can consume the information, how easy your message is conveyed. The
Mm.
biggest section that you can always do on any landing page to move the needle is your hero section, or the first section they're landing on. This is going to be the first section that people land on. So what I would say that you could start testing is test the new headline. So this is always the first thing I would test, and an image combination. So I noticed in your listicle, you should have an image up here. So I would have an image in there as well. I'll show you an example of a listicle that we're working on for a client. You can see for this listicle, this is their current listicle, this one over here. So what are the areas that we're trying to optimize? We're optimizing the hero section. So we're doing 5 different split tests. We're changing the headline, changing the image in different
Yep.
combinations. So we're doing
Okay.
this to see, okay, what is it that people are going to resonate with? Your one is like you're selling straight away to your banner. So I would remove
Mm.
this and instead make it
Okay.
look like a news article, and have the author's title in here. It's really simple. Like, look at this design. It's nothing amazing, right? But it's just really
Yep.
simple. The text is big and easy to read. I think your text is slightly smaller.
Hmm.
I would be wary of using AI. I know you're using AI because this image, for example, it looks like a good thing because the arrows are blue. But I know
Yep.
what you're trying to communicate. You're trying to communicate that the pressure is going away. So
Yep.
if I show you, you can see how they're illustrating. Like you look at this, it's very easy to see. Oops, it's very easy to see the difference, right? Like you can actually show the heat map, the pressure heat map. We know that these
Yep.
type of graphics do really, really well. Then you can show the comparison. This is the current, this is what happens when you're sitting on the plane seat, and then
Hmm.
after when they're sitting on your chair, and you show zero pressure. You could introduce the product in the first image. So you could do it in the first image. See the way on these examples, we have the product in the image. You could do it there. So you introduce the product in the first hero section image, but then in the first point, we go straight to the benefit. Like even look at the example that's in the Rumi listicle. The before
Mm.
example is the current problem, and then the second example is the after, the solution. So it's very simple.
Yep.
Like before and after is a really good asset to have.
And you know the hero image you talked about?
Mm,
What would be like a good UGC example? So if you go into the next one of the links, the first link that I send you in the chat, you'll have a
this one.
oh yeah, so if you could scroll down a little bit, scroll down. Yeah, so would that be
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
UGC style like that?
exactly,
Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
okay, cool.
That
Yep,
looks actually quite good. That looks quite believable, that one.
that's real. I went to the
This
airport
this
to
looks oh yeah. Yeah, well it looks believable. Yeah. This looks good as well. Yeah, these are great.
yeah,
These are
those are
great.
real
And you know
people.
why they're good?
I
Because
paid them
they're your
$50.
target, they're your yeah, but they're your target demographic, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So it looks great, man. Yeah, these look really good. So what I would say, if we want to get really tactical, right, I'm gonna do these rough screenshots here. Test out a combination of just each of the images on their own, and then the fourth image, do a combination. So do all three of them, split into one image, like this example.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, okay. That's genius. Never thought of that.
Well,
Yeah.
well, the reason why I think this would be a good test is because we can see what type of person resonates with your traffic when they look at the image. And remember, you
Mm,
have to do the headline as well. So you need to do image and headline. Um,
yeah.
as well. So a
Would
different headline for each different image. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And each image is a different person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
just making sure.
But that will
Thanks,
be that
thanks.
will be a solid test for you. Um,
Yeah.
that'll be a solid test for you. And then this lady is fine. This Sarah, I would even maybe remove her face. Um, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
necessarily it's not necessarily important. You want to keep it clean. I'm going to quickly redo this, just how you've done it really, really quickly.
Mhm.
Because the list, your hero section, you can see how much time we're spending on this because that's why it's so important. Imagine that's where 100% of your traffic visit and see. So if you can make a
Mm,
10% improvement to your hero section, that's gonna be 10% across 100% of your traffic. So um,
yeah, 100%.
a big upgrade. But
Yeah.
if we change this quickly 40. I would make the all the text a little bit bigger. So 30, let's do 34. We want to try and get this on to about 3 lines. I would try and do another headline that gets this down to 3 lines. So I'm not going to try and come up with one, but imagine if we can get it down to, if we can get it down to 3 lines, it would be really easy to read. You've got
Mm-hmm.
your summary box over here, which is good. And then you're going to have your image combo. This is going to
Mm-hmm.
look really bad, but just imagine you're going to do a better job.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yep.
So it will
It's
look
actually,
maybe something like that.
yeah, it's actually super quick how you did all that.
I'm just showing you rough proof of concept. And
Yeah,
then
no,
in
that's
here,
that's
you're going to
awesome.
have in the box, you're going to have travel insider, right? So travel insider, make it look like an
Uh,
actual, travel
yep,
website.
yeah.
So
Does it matter
now it
that
looks
my
pretty legit.
yeah, yeah, it does.
Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So this is the above the fold section, the hero section. So that's that. If you do those things, you will have pretty much definitely improved what you currently have. And then the
Mm-hmm.
first point, like I mentioned, if you just make that more of a before and after image with the assets, that will definitely be that improved. And then the next
Yep.
section after that is just optimizing the other points. So if we look at your other points, what are they? So prevents actual body damage. I'd be more specific with this one. So what I would say is instead of this, I would list out the actual medical things that people have. So you could do these things here. Low back pain, fatigue from constant shifting. Like this is all resonating with what you're actually trying to sell. This is the section that you need because
Would you do it
you're gonna resonate with everyone.
like that, like in dot points, or would you have it as text?
So I would probably do a combination. So when you're doing the text, you could do a little paragraph of text over here, and then underneath it, you can just list them.
Yep,
So
gotcha.
instead of listing all of these, maybe just list the top six. Like I would, if I was you, after I leave this call, I would go onto Reddit, some of these threads and forums, and type in travel over 40. Try and find where these people are going to, and look at what they're asking for, and look at the terms that come up. Maybe it's this term. Maybe travel people who are going on flights, they're looking at this term is coming up, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
disc degeneration is coming up. Look at whatever term is coming up, and that's what you can bring onto your pages, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Yep.
you're selling your product, which is helping people feel more comfortable on the plane, but there's so many different angles that people can come into this at. Maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
coming into it because their spine hurts because they're sitting in a weird posture. It could be posture. That's another thing, because people sit weirdly or they're constantly shifting. They may be sitting slouched, you know what I mean? Or maybe they're putting like another standard cushion underneath for padding, but that's not really helping them. That might just temporarily help them with comfort. So
Yep.
this is your first point. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing at the top. Um, Actually portable, that I would leave down to the bottom. Adjustable firmness. Oh, okay, you can inflate it. This is definitely a better one. So this one I would put as number two. Put that in number two, and maybe have a
Mm-hmm.
GIF for this. Show it actually
Okay.
inflating, and so that you can
Yep.
adjust it. So I would say GIF weighs nothing, packs tiny. So again, for this, and I'm pretty sure you can get an asset for this as well. Do a Belroy style graphic, like something like this. See the way
Ah,
they're showing
yep.
the
Like it.
suitcase.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
you
packing it.
literally
Yeah.
show someone packing their suitcase. You can do it yourself because you don't need to see any person interacting, and then you show you packing the product as well. The more visual you can make it, the quicker the speed, the more potent it's going to be.
Yep.
Um, One cost, yeah, and then again show the. This is a good one as well, but I would again show the product and then show the cost investment compared to um, surgery, compared to more premium, more premium options, um, more premium seats. So
How
basically,
would how
in
would you
this
show those?
section, so you can explain it here in your text
Yep.
and in
Okay. Yeah.
a comparison chart. So in a comparison chart as well,
Yeah.
something like
Okay.
this. But I would make it even more easier to read because these are older people. So just make it super easy for them to read. Something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But then basically the whole point of this section is explain why it's worth 10 times the price.
Yep.
That's what
Okay.
you're trying to do in this section. That's the whole
Yep.
point. So you want to show that visually and explain that with the text. If you can do that, your listicle, I think, is going to be pretty much optimized. Let's look at your final call to action section. Okay, you got this section down here. This is the next part that I would optimize as well. I would just clean it up a little bit. I've given you in this course, there's a template pack that you can use, which is this
Oh,
one.
okay.
And in this
Yeah.
template pack, there is if I go into it, there's two listicle page examples in here. But if I go
Right.
down to the
Okay.
bottom section, you can see how the bottom section is like a padded interrupt, showing the
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
You got the headline. So I would
Yep.
copy one of these examples,
Hmm. Okay.
something like this is gonna just be a little bit cleaner. Yeah, man, I think that would be your listicle improved. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Damn.
Any
That's a lot
questions
of.
on this?
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I think I'll have some more questions next time when I actually do it.
And then
Awesome.
your
Yeah.
product page, are you happy with this?
No, no. I think if we have time, and I don't think there's anyone else here, so yeah, if we can go through it, that'd be really appreciated.
Okay, so with product pages, the most important section that you can optimize is your image carousel, this section up
Hmm.
here. The good news is if you start with your listicle page, you're going to be creating better assets. So by the time you've actually finished optimizing your listicle page, these assets you can actually bring into your carousel. For example, when you create this comparison chart, you can bring that in to here. When you create this before and after image, you can bring that into here. When you create this UGC collage, you can bring that into here. The funny thing is, what people don't realize is that every
Mm.
single section and every single page should be selling the same thing. You shouldn't, they shouldn't come to your product page and you start introducing different selling points. So you basically need to be selling them on
Mm.
all the information they've already come across, but doing it in a different way. So the carousel
Ah,
imagery is still selling them on these 7 points that you've already done, but making it quicker for them to consume. More visual, like before and after, quote,
right.
testimonial, GIF, you know? So the same thing.
Right.
That
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
if they exit this page and they come back to here, what they're being sold the same information. And the good way about this strategy is when you get clear on your top 5 to 7 selling points, your job then as a marketer is not to start inventing new ones and weakening it and diluting your message, is to improve your assets, improve your communication. Remember what I said at the start, marketing is about communication, how you get better at your conversion rate AOV, improving your quality of communication. So you're just sharpening those 7 points all the time. Better assets, better words, better copy, and a month, 2 months, 3 months, you're going to be really dialed in. If
Yep.
you followed that.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. And
so
how do you
this is the
decide
first,
which is
yeah.
how would you decide which is the good one, right? Because I started off with the product page, did the listicle. The product page has its own images, listicle has its own images. Is it just a test?
Well, I mean, I think you're sending traffic through your listicle right now, and then they're getting redirected to the product page, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So test sending them to the listicle, test having the order form on the listicle page, that could be version one, and then test having the order form on the product page and sending traffic to the product page. So this could be a
Okay.
separate test for you where you're testing basically you're split testing these two pages against each other and saying, okay, traffic's going to go here, 50% of traffic is going to go here. They both can convert on these two pages. Which one converts better? If you're noticing that people are converting better on the product page and they're converting less on this page, then I would set up another split test your product page, and then test this flow so that you send 50% of traffic to here, you send 50% of traffic to here, but they don't check out on here, they get redirected to here. And what you might find in some cases is that this one wins because you're giving people, it's like a softer sell. They're coming to
Yeah.
this page, they're not being sold straight away, they're getting more information, and then they come to here and then they're ready to buy. But you
Yeah,
have to test that. I wouldn't be able to tell. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's what I'm doing at the moment. But what I'm saying is because you know how you said the images should be the same on the listicle and as the product page or very similar. At the
Yeah.
moment it's completely different images. Would it just be
Okay.
another
So,
test to just like test out which one's working? Because they're very different images compared to the listicle. The first one is more like the like upgrade to first class, and then it just goes through all. Yeah, like
yeah, they don't need to be the same images, but they need to be the same sales asset, if that makes sense. They need to be
okay,
communicating the same thing. So you can use a
yep,
different image, you can use different text, but as long as you're selling the same points that you're mentioning on your main selling points. So for the carousel, stick in this image, I would stick to about 7 to 9 images in total. 7 to 9
Okay.
images. I've got a few trainings on the Zero module and how you can figure out what these are. There's like a framework that I follow. But just to simplify it for you, your first
Mhm.
image should always be a hero shot. So it should always be, if I go back to row, if I go back to their carousel, where is it? Oh yeah, listing photos. The first one is just your product on its own on the clean background. Okay. And then
Right.
maybe you
Okay.
can have a badge in this as well that says it's FTA carry on, or sorry, not FTA, but what's the flight in America? The
TSA. TSA.
TSA. Yeah, so TSA
Yeah.
approved. Have to have a badge in there that says TSA approved. I mean, obviously it's TSA approved, but just it's again, it's another little badge. When people see TSA approved and they see your product, they almost feel like it's been vetted, it's been improved. People, for some reason, they love authority. They love these badges. We know they work. So bring that in a little badge up here. Keep your
Mhm.
product on a little white background. Maybe even put the product packaging in the background as well. If you're selling the bag, you show this bag. If you're selling this as well, if that's included,
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
that in your hero
Agree.
section as well and show that it's free bonus, you know?
Yeah. Okay. And for the hero section, how important is it to not have an image there? Because I did a split test, and it was actually better with the what I currently have, which is it's not that one. It's the first class. What is it? Upgrade to first class. Yeah. So that's
Oh,
my
this.
like. Yeah. Yeah.
My philosophy is always to keep it super simple, stripped down. Yeah, I always see decent
Yeah.
results when you keep it clean, when you follow this
Yeah.
structure, you know?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, that's reassuring because send you another link. That's what I sort of wanted to go towards. Um, that would work, right? That's what you're sort of looking for.
Well, I would simplify it a little bit more. Basically, the whole point of this image is to show, I'll show you a different example for row. The point of it is so that you can communicate the value of what they're buying visually. So imagine if you were selling a bundle, this is really what you're selling. So imagine this is what your image would be. This is what your image should be. Something like this. So here's your product. Here's the free bag that's included. And what else? You don't have anything else. And then you're going to have a TSA badge in here as well. So imagine
Yep,
TSA badge up here. Here's your cushion over
yep,
here.
yep.
Here's your bag that it comes in. And then you have
Yep.
the label free up here. That's it.
Okay.
So
Super simple.
when they
Yeah.
come from the listicle to this, they instantly understand, oh wow, I'm getting all of these free extra stuff. And then they look down at the price and they realize that the discount code is already applied. So
Mm.
it's just communicating the value visually to people. They're like, okay, I'm getting all of this stuff for free, plus I'm getting 40% off, you know?
Yep,
So
yep.
that's going to convert more people. And then all of this, I would left align all of this text, make the font a little bit cleaner. There's again in this landing page framework, we have tons of optimized hero sections that you can follow. You might not be able to find templates like this on Pagefly, but just try and find ones that are more clean. Like again, this is another good example of what I was just talking about. Iron Layer. You can see how it follows the same thing I was talking about. The first image, we're showing everything that's included on a
Mm.
plain white background. So we have a badge, then we have reviews, what the product actually is. We got a benefit point down here. This could be again for you. This could be upgrade to first class, top 3 selling points, purchase, maybe a little badge showing that their discount code has been applied, and then the checkout box.
What would you put as a second image?
Your whole carousel needs to be about maximum 9 images. So let's say 8 images. First one is the hero shot. The second one should be a lifestyle photo. So this could be that second photo that you showed me with this dude in here, but it needs to look real. It needs to look authentic, you know. So
Mm.
ideally, it's a passenger sitting on the flight with your product. That would be the second photo. So product in use.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep.
The next one would be a quote, or actually, it could be the before and after. You know, the new image that you created, the
Hmm.
before and after one. That's what
Yep.
that one would be. This one would be a quote, customer testimonial.
Yep.
And for
Okay.
this, don't just put any random one in there. Find your top winning ad. What is that ad angle? What is it talking about specifically? And then find a quote that reinforces it. And the next one could be the comparison. We have that asset in here, you know, the comparison, price comparison. This one over here could be another lifestyle shot. You have 3 different images, and they could be reinforcing the other selling points that we didn't mention over here. So the fact that it's inflatable, all the different health things that it covers. So that's
Okay.
how you fill up the other images. But try and keep it. The goal is not to have as many images as possible. It's to have as few as possible. So if you can really do a good job in selling it in 5 to 6 images, then keep it at 5 to 6. Because
Right.
the more images you put in, the less people are going to scroll through. So
Yeah, yeah. More of
yeah.
laser focus and easy, simple message.
So again, there's two aspects of your product page: your image carousel, which we kind of hinted upon. Check out the training after, and the second part
Mhm.
is this information. To figure out what you need to do for this information, look at the examples that I give on the templates.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thanks, Ush. I appreciate your help. That was a lot of
No, it's
value.
a pleasure, man. And final thing, if you don't have it, yeah, you only have a few tabs down here. Try and get these
Hmm.
tabs to be higher up because we know people interact with them. And try and get a tab in here that's FAQs. FAQs because people always engage with FAQs. So try and get FAQs, or if you have an FAQ section at the bottom of your page, if they click on this
Yeah.
tab, it scrolls them to it, you know?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool,
FAQs.
man. And I'll leave it there. But
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully that
Thanks.
helps.
Yeah, man. That was
Okay,
awesome.
pleasure, man.
Appreciate your help.